in this video, we're going to look at whether or not you should buy in an area or you should try somewhere else. We've logged into Ultimate Property Dashboard and we're on the main landing page or dashboard, and you can see there's an area performance here for SA1, and you can see demand isn't that great for 1-bedroom properties this month, but it is good for 2- and 3-bedroom properties, and you can also see the rents are pretty strong across the board, and you can see that asking prices are rising with the exception of 4-bedroom properties. We've also got some HMO data in this postcode area. Demand isn't that great, but the rents are good. And asking prices are up 10 and a bit %. So, but had a bit of a growth spurt. Prices have gone up. Market slowed down in HMOs. It's good to know for SA1. But the question is, where should I buy in this SA postcode area? This is the sort of the Greater Swansea area. Can't really see that from that data. To answer that question, I would go to My Area Research. We do it quite often in the software, so you can see we've got a few different areas. Let's get rid of that Exeter postcode and we'll just see the SA1 postcode. Right. So I need to know whether I should try and buy somewhere else. Now what I'm really looking for in this instance is for areas that have got green across the board. If all these measures, asking price, asking rent and demand, are lit up green, that's a good area. Now a good area isn't enough, it's also what size property is in demand. Because areas go through transitions. They'll go through smaller properties being in demand, then medium-sized properties, then larger properties, and then maybe back to medium, then maybe back to small again, and then it might be HMOs, and that's constantly shifting and changing. So I'd never like to buy in a falling market. I never like to buy in a slowing market. I like to buy in a market that is speeding up. And you can do that really quickly by using My Area Research. You can get that insight immediately. So My Area Research, I'm going to add new area and I'm going to put in the first part of the postcode, SA, and you'll see it's giving me all of the options for SA. I'm going to put in the first dozen to do a bit of analysis. I'm not going to go into too much detail here, so I like to keep things simple. I'm just going to put in those postcodes and now what I've got is I've got a view at a glance, and you can do this on your phone as well, of all of the postcode areas and their performances. So you can see there's a bit of a mixed bag here. You can see that SA3 doesn't have a lot of demand. It's had really good rent growth and really good house price growth, asking price growth, but that's happened and it's slowed down. So I probably wouldn't necessarily want to be investing in that area. I'm not saying you shouldn't, but I always like to be led by demand. So you can see in SA5 we've got 41% demand, 5% rent growth and not a lot of asking price growth yet. That's an area that is potentially good, so I might want to make a note. I'm interested in 2 beds in SA5. Also some good performances in SA6 and not so good in SA7 with the a lack of data as well, so possibly not a lot of stock for sale in that area. And then not a great performance in SA8 on 2 beds either. Demand is low. So it's peculiar, isn't it? Because SA8, 7 and 6, they're all pretty close to one another, but yet the real demand area and the real demand postcode is SA6, and it's particularly on 2- and 3-bedroom homes. So immediately I can get this insight and understand which areas are best for me to invest. I can also just have a quick look at prices and see if a postcode area is within my investment budget, and absolutely SA6 is. And also I can see what the yields are like. It's not bad, is it? Getting 6% off the bat in an area in the UK at the moment. Swansea's pretty good for yields, so I can quickly flit and move between those. Now if I like this, I could download it to PDF and then I can email it to people and use it, but I can also, if I go back down to SA6 again, I can click on show more, and I can see SA6 and all the different properties performances. Now I might want to compare all these side by side in a report, so if I want to do an Excel report, so I'm going to click on customize column and I'm going to put all my tables in, all my areas in one table. And again, we were just commenting on 2-bedroom properties, so let's just do the 2-bedroom properties. I can also put in the last 3 and 6 months growth, and I can even put in 3 months worth of data comparisons as well. What does all that mean? Well, it means I get a nice little chart that looks like this. So I've got all of the postcodes. Obviously we're just 2-bed at the moment, that's what we're filtered on. I've got the average asking prices and the rents, I've got the yields, and then I've got, for each month, that was January, whether or not in that month the prices went up or down for each of those types. I've got the same for February, I've got the same for March, and then I've got a summary for the area. So I've got what the affordability is, how many listings there are, what percentage of the market is rental. I've got the demand, I've got the average household turnover, so I can see where the affluent areas are, and I can see where the less affluent areas are of that postcode area. Plus I've got a bit of crime data, a bit of population data, and then I've got the growth in asking prices over 3, 6 months and 12 months or a year. You can see actually in this area some postcodes have fallen in value. People don't believe me when I say that. They say, oh no, everywhere's growing at the same rate. Well, it really isn't. Look at the difference over the last 3 months in many of these areas. We've got 3% negative there, 8% negative there, and actually a consistent negative performance for the whole of the year. It's been down by all measures. What postcode was that? That is SA9. So if you're investing in SA9, that area's had a bit of a downturn recently. But then you can also see some other areas where we've had growth over the last 3, 6 and 12 months. Good example there. 9.5 in the last month. Marginal over the last 6 months, 5% over the year. And then we've had some areas that have had real growth, real massive growth, and then a slowdown in the last 3 months. So you can very quickly see and get insight into which areas will perform best for you. And I would encourage everybody to use this data as part of their due diligence and part of their understanding of an area, because Swansea is not one of the biggest areas of the UK. It's a reasonably sized but not massive city, and yet even in that area there are massive disparities and changes in performance across all of the different postcode areas. So familiarise yourself with this data and make sure you know whether or not that area works for you.